Hey there, Brian McClellan. I just have one teensy tiny little question for you.
What the you doing, you little piece of
Why? Why in God's name would you do this? For those of you who don't know, the Washington Capitals have acquired Pierre-Luc Dubois from the LA Kings in exchange for goaltender Darcy Kuemper. No salary was retained by either side.
Now comes the part where we throw our heads back and laugh. Ready?
Ready!
Now look, on the surface I understand why Washington would make this trade. They're adding a young top six winger who's another 30-goal, 60-70 point guy. There's a feeling that other organizations didn't get the most out of Dubois' talent, that he hasn't really gotten the opportunity to shine, that he still could be an 80, 90, maybe even 100-point player in the right system with the right coaching. And Alex Ovechkin needs another top six winger to take some pressure off of him. And in exchange, you're unloading a contract that you probably would have bought out anyway. Darcy Kuemper was a terrible signing, has been a mediocre goaltender during his time in Washington, was supplanted by Charlie Lindgren. You have a bunch of good young goaltenders you can call up to be your backup next year. Getting rid of Kuemper makes a lot of sense, and you can do it without retaining salary. That's fine. That's on the surface. But in reality, you're trading away an awful, terrible contract for maybe the worst contract in hockey. Pierre-Luc Dubois is signed for $8.5 million for another 7 years, and he has a no-movement clause that kicks in on July 1st. Kuemper, as bad as he was for the money, only had 2 more years at $5.3 million. You could have gotten out of this contract much earlier, could have traded him along with one of those third-round picks, retained some salary. Instead, now you've gotten rid of him by locking yourself into 7 more years at a higher cap hit for a player who has whined his way out of at least 2, maybe 3 teams who don't know how things ended in LA. And as a side note for all the Kings fans who are going to come in here laughing and dunking on the Caps for this, first of all, congrats on getting out of this awful contract, but don't think for a second we forgot that your GM traded away Iafallo, Villiardi, and a pick to take on this god-awful contract. So congratulations, you traded away all those guys and all you got back is a low-end starting goaltender who's massively overpaid. But the fact of the matter is the LA Kings won this trade. They won it walking away because the Pierre-Luc Dubois contract is just an absolute albatross. There's basically no way that Dubois is ever going to live up to that contract unless he immediately becomes like an 80, 90 point guy right off the bat in Washington, which it's great if you believe in that, Brian McClellan, but there's absolutely no evidence to suggest that that will happen. And immediately all the other fans are coming out dunking on the Caps for this awful trade, which I can't even defend because it is fucking awful. And I'll give credit where it's due. This tweet saying that they bought cap friendly so nobody could see this awful contract that they just took on. That's a banger. Honestly, I can't remember being this viscerally upset about a trade immediately after seeing it since Philip Forsberg from Martin Erat. That is the level at which I think this trade is going to end up. And if you don't know, that Erat trade basically got George McPhee fired about 5 years later than he should have been. And that might be the case for Brian McClellan, except that he has now also handicapped his replacement with this unmovable contract. So it may actually end up worse than the Erat for Forsberg contract. So yeah, I pray that I'm wrong, but here comes Pierre-Luc Dubois to ruin my favorite team. Fan-fucking-tastic.